The newest film from Warner Brothers and DC has been filled with controversy. Joker was lambasted for glorifying anarchy and inspiring violence in others. Joaquin Phoenix's performance has been applauded, but rumors have spread insinuating that he is less than easy to work with. All of this, coupled with the awkward interviews surrounding the film in regards to the press and the film's promotion, have led to many conflicted opinions on the film. The ending leaves viewers with more questions than answers, and an apparent 30 minutes of additional footage was also cut from the film, causing many to speculate on the different versions that could have existed. Today, however, we'll be taking a lighter look at the film as we try to find the punchline in the dark and twisted joke that is the film Joker, by counting down the top 10 Joker bloopers and funny behind the scenes. And be sure to stick around till the end of this video where we will have some bonus content coming at you. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10. Bank Scene. While much of the unused footage has been kept under wraps for Joker, as director Todd Phillips has spoken out against giving access to deleted scenes, saying that the theatrical release should suffice and is the only director's cut that the audience will need, the original script has been leaked for the film, which has had many talking about scenes that were cut or altered. One such scene involves Sophie and Arthur in the bank where Sophie works. Arthur comes in while Sophie is working, pretending that he wants to open an account. The scene is interrupted by Sophie's boss, whom Arthur noticed puts his hand on Sophie's back and causes her to flinch. It is possible that the scene was cut because of changes made to Sophie's character. Originally, it was Arthur's cat that was supposed to be made to seem like a delusion, and not his relationship with Sophie. But changes were made to instead make the relationship appear to simply have been completely imagined by Fleck. Number 9. Phoenix's favorite take. The speech that Arthur gives near the end of the film while on the Murray Franklin show is a powerful one, and was apparently shot many times in very different styles. In one take he was crying, in another he would crack jokes, one was filled with sarcasm and dry wit, and another still was fueled by anger and outrage, allegedly. When asked about the scene in an interview, Joaquin confessed that in fact his favorite take of that speech was not even the one that they used in the film. So we'll never get to know what that take was like, and probably won't even get to know why it was Phoenix's favorite. Phoenix went on to say that although the take used was not his personal favorite, he felt it was the best one to use given the context and was the best one in terms of suiting the story. Number 8. Got your nose scene. Some behind the scenes footage alludes to a full-length scene between Arthur and Randall. In the scene, Randall, played by Glenn Flesher, chases after Arthur, presumably after he's cleaned out his locker at his workplace. It's unclear from the footage, but apparently this scene involves Randall confronting Arthur about the murders, implying that he suspects Arthur to have been involved. He tells Arthur that the police are looking for him and that he doesn't like the fact that Arthur mentioned that Randall had supplied him with a gun. Arthur denies any involvement in the killings, though Randall also mentions that there are now masks being sold that were inspired by the Joker's makeup, and that some people seem to see the murders in a more positive light, as vigilante justice. Arthur removes Randall's clown nose and throws it, sending him off running after it as it continues to roll down the street. Rolling all day. Number 7. The laugh. Arthur Fleck has 3 very different and distinct laughs in the film depending on the scenario he is in, and this wasn't just an arbitrary decision of Joaquin's. These laughs were actually curated by Phoenix and Phillips themselves for the purpose of the film and for different moments and reactions of Arthur's. One particular type of laugh that Phoenix had a hard time with was what Phillips refers to as the affliction laugh. Phillips had shown him footage of pathological laughter, which can sometimes occur in trauma patients. Phoenix thought it seemed really interesting but didn't feel like he had quite nailed it, so he actually invited Phillips over to audition different versions of that laugh for him. In an interview, Phoenix confessed to Phillips, "You came to my house and I was really uncomfortable. I sat there for 5 minutes trying to work it up, and finally you said, 'You don't have to do this.' And I said, 'No, I have to do this, because if I don't do this now, if I can't force myself to find it now, then forever I'm going to f***ing out.'" Can you imagine auditioning just a laugh? Phoenix did confess, despite the challenge of the role, that every day on set was filled with genuine laughter, and somewhat disappointingly that the role did not seem to torture him, and that he honestly just had a great time shooting the film. Number 6. Slapstick humor. There is also some behind the scenes footage of a scene showing Arthur being thrown out of the Wayne Manor. He hams up the drama of them throwing him out skillfully and intentionally tumbling down the stairs in a clown-like fashion. He then quickly hops to his feet and takes a deep bow as crowds cheer him on and applaud him. Classic slapstick. Apparently in the film, Joaquin Phoenix was actually reported to have performed a lot of his own stunts, impressing many on the set with his willingness to be thrown around and perform stunt falls as well as fight choreo. Pretty sick. Number 5. Mystery scene. There's a favorite scene that both Todd and Joaquin refer to as being one of their favorites, but that ultimately had to be cut to improve the flow of the overall story. While often they don't touch on the subject matter of the scene, we did find an interview with Collider that delves into it. Apparently, the scene was between Arthur and Randall, where they're speaking a second time in the stairwell. The scene was apparently one of Joaquin's favorites, and although it had to be cut, a scene still remains in the film that refers back to it, involving Arthur writing on a sign leading down to that stairwell. Number 4. The stair scene. The famous scene with Joker dancing on the steps was apparently a challenging one to shoot for many reasons. For one, Phoenix had only practiced the choreo on a flat surface and had to impromptu adjust to the steep steps. The steps were also apparently quite narrow, which made performing and dancing on them even more treacherous. But beyond that, Phoenix also had to put up with critics heckling him in the form of teenagers. The stairs were between 2 apartments, and apparently there were tons of teenagers in the apartments above Phoenix who started calling out to him. Phoenix delved into the hilarious awkward filming of that scene in an interview, discussing the heckling and saying they were banging on the window, being like, "F you, Phoenix," and that was unexpected. I was like, this is bull. And then whenever that happens, I go like, that just doesn't seem right. And then I think about professional athletes where it's like 0.2 seconds left and you have a free throw and people are waving behind you being like, you suck. And I'm like, oh, that's what it's like to be a professional. Like, under the best circumstances, anybody can act. But when you want to run away because there's cruel teenagers heckling you. Number 3. Sad clown. Some behind the scenes footage reveals a sad but hilarious look at a scene involving Arthur Fleck in a phone booth, dressed up as a clown. We see him talking on the payphone hurriedly until his face changes and he drops the phone. He then stares downward before slowly leaning forward to press his headpiece up against the glass box, slowly sliding his head downward. My description doesn't really do it justice, but if you watch it without the sound and without proper in-film framing, it's actually pretty funny in an aw way, and falls in line with classical physical or slapstick humor. Number 2. The blooper. Recently, Joaquin Phoenix appeared on Jimmy Kimmel's talk show, where Kimmel surprised him with an outtake from the film that he said Todd Phillips sent over for them to share on the show. The outtake showed Joaquin in makeup trying to get into character and chastising and swearing at cinematographer Lawrence "Larry" Shearer for whispering and making fun of him. The outtake and interview are funny in a kind of awkward way.
And I know you started the Shearer thing, Larry.
After the outtake was shown, Phoenix appeared shocked and embarrassed. Not gonna lie, it's actually funnier the more you watch it, but the first time it's pretty awkward. Phoenix apologized to the audience and to Larry and said that he would have his publicist release a public statement tomorrow. Many people criticized Phoenix for his behavior on set, while even more criticized Kimmel for playing the clip and for not really doing a great job at interviewing Phoenix. However, it was later revealed that all of this was an actual joke and a kind of publicity stunt, which everyone was in on. Phoenix and Kimmel had even planned out the whole thing beforehand, apparently. It's hard to tell for sure though, as Joaquin's reaction appeared quite legitimate.
I was supposed to be private.
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
Sorry you guys had to see that.
I believe.
His sense of humor tends to come across as dry and sarcastic as well, making it hard to tell when he's being serious or not. Although even Larry has told reporters that he was also in on it, so it's more likely that it was all, in effect, just a bad joke. Number 1. The best blooper we'll never see. Many takes were also done in the Murray Franklin show scene of Joker's entrance. Phillips confessed they did a ton of takes, and that in every one, Phoenix was brilliant. He shared, "While I don't like deleted scenes, we did cut this fun thing together of all the times of Joaquin walking out on Murray Franklin, because every time Murray would stand and go, 'Please welcome Joker,' and the curtains would open and he comes out and does something different every time." Apparently, the little reel was quite funny, but odds are good that we'll never get to see it. Even when Phillips has discussed releasing outtakes, bloopers, or deleted scenes in interviews, he has quickly followed up with the fact that he's joking. What a cruel, cruel joke indeed. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. I hope you enjoyed this list and found some of these outtakes, bloopers, and behind the scenes both entertaining and interesting. To me, it's unsurprising that everyone seems to have so much fun on such a dark set. I personally find when filming darker films myself that everyone tends to be even more jovial in comparison to other types of films. Have you seen Joker yet? Did you love it? Hate it? What do you think of the controversy behind the film and of Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Joker? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're on your way down there, don't forget to like, sub, and ring our bell for all of the nerdy notifications. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube. Oh, and watch out for that bonus content. Woo! And falls in line with classical physical or slapstick humor. Let me see if I can do an impersonation of it. It's like he's like this. He's like, yeah. He just like slowly slid down. It's really funny. But when you want to run away, sorry, he swears so much. Joaquin Phoenix has a potty mouth. Then forever, I'm going to pussy out. Phoenix likes to swear a lot, so many bleeps. It's more likely that it was all, in effect, just a bad joke. Or a great joke, because no one knew it was happening? No, that's not how jokes work. You have to know for it to be a good joke. What a cruel, cruel joke indeed. Give us the bloopers. Give us the deleted scenes. Philip says, no, not for you.